Hello, my name is Yang, and today we are going to talk about types of verbs. Types of verbs. And let's start. First, we want to look at the types of verbs quickly. Now we talk about definition. Types of verbs. And number one, we have action verbs. Action verbs. And number two, we have linking verbs. Number three, we have helping verbs. Let's go one more time. Action verbs, linking verbs, and the last one, the third one, is helping verbs. Very good. Let's move on to the next. And if we take the action verbs, we have two types of action verbs. We have the transitive and we have intransitive. So transitive and intransitive. So number one and number two, transitive and intransitive. And before we move further, I would like to define what a verb is. I would like to define or give definition to a verb. Verbs are words that express action or state of being. We have already said there are three types of verbs: action verbs, linking verbs, and helping verbs. And now we're having a looking at action verbs. What are action verbs? Action verbs are words that express, as the name implies, action. They express action. Action verbs are words that express action. So let's look at some example. We can have example like give. You can give a pen or give water. So give, eat, and walk. So these are some example. And action verb has two functions. One, they express action. Two, they show possession. They show exhibit, manifest. They show possession. So for example, we have a word like have and own. Action verbs can be either we said that can be either transitive or intransitive. Transitive or intransitive. So this is what we're having a looking at. We have a look at. Let's go to the next. We are saying the action verbs are words that express action. We said that. So I will give an examples. Give, eat, walk, and the rest. Let's go to the next. Action verbs can also show possession. So with the possession, we have examples like have, own. So these are the two basic examples that are given out. So we want to continue, further. So action verbs can be either transitive or intransitive. So we can have an action verb in two ways or in two aspects. So action verbs can be intransitive and transitive. We'll look at that later on. Let's continue. So if we're looking at the transitive, the first one we want to look at transitive. So if we look at transitive, a transitive verb always, all time, always, often or often. So a transitive verb always has a noun. Remember, a noun. A noun is a name of a place, a person, animal, or thing, or object. So we are saying that a transitive verb always has a noun that receives. So remember this word, receives, the action of the verb. This is very, very important. We are talking about a noun. So when a noun receives an action from a verb, it is called direct object. When a noun, in English, when a noun receives an action of a verb, it is called direct object. Example, the cat eats the meat. So the cat here is a noun, but it's a subjective noun. And the meat here is objective noun. So we have subjective and objective. So we are saying that the meat here receiving the direct action, which is eat. So the meat becomes the direct object, or we cannot say direct or direct object. Let's move on. So what I want you to bear in mind is that now a transitive verb always has a noun. That is very important. That receives the action of the verb. And so when the noun receives an action in a sentence, in terms of transitive verb, it is called the direct object. Very good. So look, let's have a look at an example. John raises his hand. John raises his hand. Now you see that the noun, the verb is John. The verb is, the verb is raises. I've underlined it and I was saying John, sorry. The verb is raises and the noun is what? John. What I want you to understand is that John raises his hand. It means that his hand is the object receiving the verb action. Therefore, raises is a transitive verb. Look at raises and look at the hand. John raises his hand. So the raises is going to the hand. So the hand is receiving. So the hand is receiving the action raises. And when that happens, the verb become a transitive verb. Transitive. So the verb becomes a transitive verb. Let's continue. We are running out of time. And a transitive verb sometimes have indirect. So we are looking at two aspects. First, we talk about direct. Now we are talking about indirect. We can say direct or indirect. A transitive verbs sometimes have indirect object, which name the object to whom or for whom. So to whom, for whom the action was done. Very important. So for the first one, we saw that the hand received the action. So the action was done to the hand. So here, that's the whom. Okay, we just saw an example earlier on. So we are saying that transitive verbs sometimes have indirect objects which name the object to whom or for whom the action was done. Let's move on. Example, Mike, that's a noun. Mike gave Becky the pencil. Mike gave Becky the pencil. So if you look at this sentence, you realize the verb is gave. And the direct object is the pencil. Pencil. Direct object. D-O. Direct object. And also one thing I want you to bear in mind is the direct object is the pencil. But what did he give? The pencil. The pencil. The indirect object is Becky. That's to whom did he give it to? To Becky. So Becky is indirect object. Indirect object. Indirect object. And the pencil is the direct object. Mike gave Becky the pencil. So gave is referring to Becky also, but gave is directly to the pencil. So the pencil becomes direct object, whereas Becky becomes indirect object. So that's the meaning of what we are talking about. A transitive verb can be indirect or can also be direct object. Let's look at Before we look at intransitive, because of our time, we'd like to end the video so that we can continue with the part 2. See you. Bye.